I'm going to try not to get in the way. There you go.
So
I'm going to look over your shoulder.
Absolutely. And today what we're going to do is we'll go through a live deployment using real sites and real links. So what we have is I've logged into our SteelConnect manager, and this is where we can control and orchestrate the entire network across all of the sites in the company. This is Global Realty. They have a couple of sites that are larger than the rest and are connecting in 3 branch or regional sites into those central locations. Now they've already deployed our appliances because they are feeling the bandwidth bite. Currently everything is connected with MPLS, and so what they've done is they've ordered new internet connections to see if they could offload some of their traffic and get just a better overall traffic pattern across their entire network. So they've deployed our appliances, and now what we're going to do is show you how easy it is to use those shiny new internet lines. So to do that, I'm going to go up here to the organization, and I'm going to show you that right here, under networking defaults, everything is set to use the MPLS by default. And I'm going to go down here to network design, where we can build and work with all of our sites, all of our locations, without having to log into any box, tunnel through, find a bastion host, or otherwise work with the devices on site in the actual offices. I'm going to go here to our WAN section, and I'm going to go down to our VPN section and add all of the zones in that aren't currently part of it. And what that will do is that will say that over our internet lines, we actually want to activate them and have it build the VPN for us. So if I just click all these together here and add them up, all I have to do then is just hit submit. And now the system will realize that we have multiple WANs available. We have our MPLS WAN, as well as we have our VPN WAN that's using the internet. And as I'm talking, it's going to actually realize that it can connect those together and actually give us a different path that traffic can take. So not just over the MPLS itself, but we're going to build dedicated VPNs between sites over our internet connections so we can set traffic pattern rules and actually send things across.
So right now you're setting a single policy that applies to all of the physical locations.
Right.
It's one consistent policy for everywhere.
I've joined the internet connections at all of the locations into a common WAN. And now I can set traffic rules and actually send things over that WAN and differentiate it from the MPLS, which is still plugged into all of those sites on the other ports on the boxes. So MPLS bandwidth for lots of companies is limited, it's expensive, it's quite precious. So we actually want to set the VPN to be the default transport of sending traffic between our sites. So I'll go back up here to organization, and I'm simply going to say we want to use the VPN between sites instead of the MPLS. So that'll cause all of the traffic to favor the internet connections and basically frees up our MPLS line to do exactly what we want for precious traffic in business critical applications. So we've set all that up, and now we can get into the specific business of creating rules on how we want our connections to be used. Now, in traffic path rules, this is where I can be very specific. I can get full control across the entire organization of how I want traffic to behave and what paths I want it to take. So I'll make a new path rule here. And what I want to do first is I actually want to set my phone's traffic, which is super important, critical to the entire organization, and everyone always creates support tickets if they notice, even for a moment, that their phone quality is going downhill or they can't make a phone call. So all I have to do is say, across all sites, if the source is a certain type of traffic, and so I can choose zones, I can choose guests, I actually just want it to be for everybody. So then what I have to do is when it says here applications and targets, I'm going to go down to where it says selected applications or groups, and I'm going to find my phones here. And just by adding them to that list, I can then say that I prefer that the phones always use the MPLS connectivity, the MPLS connection. However, if the MPLS is having problems, I also want to reach between the branches and the headquarters using the available internet VPN, the Route VPN service. And I also have that set at an urgent priority for QoS. This should happen at the expense of all other traffic. And when I click submit, that rule, once I turn it on, is actually applied at all sites and all zones for that contain the phone. So I don't have to go and make an individual rule at each branch for its individual phone zone. This is a global encompassing rule for anything that's tagged in the phones group.
Got it.
Now that we have the phones behaving exactly the way we want, let us show you what else we can do with different types of traffic.
Okay.
A common need across many companies is that they have these trusted applications like Salesforce.com that they use on a daily basis. Now, because those are a cloud application, there's no reason to send those from the branch to the headquarters and out to the internet that way. It makes it slow, it doesn't give a very good experience, and the users walk around the company complaining how they can't do their job. So let me show you how we can actually solve that problem with one rule. We'll just create a rule. Again, it applies at all sites. We'll choose an application for everyone, such as Salesforce.com. And then I'm going to change my path preferences to say this should actually break out directly using the internet connection that we just added at every branch. Now, if there is a problem with the internet, we'll allow them to fall back and use the MPLS connectivity, and we'll have that happen with a high priority, which means that Salesforce will always be nice and snappy. It's brought closer to the branch, giving everybody a nice experience. Now, normally, if you had a different product, you would have to go through and make all sorts of rules for every application. But using groups, we can also further reduce the amount of rules we have and make it easy to audit our security policy anytime we like. So if I actually click on this and just change it, so let's say that instead of just doing Salesforce, I want to do all SaaS applications. I've already grouped them together here called SaaS apps. Things like Dropbox, things like Salesforce, of course, and any other trusted application where I don't mind if it goes directly from the branch to that app. I can do all of them with a single rule, simply change the path there, and it's live and being pushed out. Now this rule is going to apply company-wide. The automation and the SDN part of it will actually take care of all of the uplinks, all of the IPs, all of the things that normally you would have to go and plumb manually. That just gets applied intelligently across every office.
So in this case, you've applied the rules for voice traffic and Salesforce or SaaS applications universally across the whole organization. But you could do that locally or regionally as well.
That's correct. You could actually say, instead of the entire organization, which has defaults, I can drill into a specific office, a specific subnet, and actually a specific application. And that way I can create very granular rules if I need to, or just let the all-encompassing rules catch things without me having to manually touch things. So it's time to talk about bringing on a new site. So here in Dallas, there's a pin that I haven't really touched. It's not really connected to anything else. This is kind of one of our next generation sites. This is a new office that's coming online, and we've chosen not to provision this office with an MPLS connection. We've simply made use of the available internet connectivity from some providers in the area. So as we've designed this site already using our end-to-end network design right here in the SteelConnect Manager, I don't actually have to sit down and figure out exactly what it is going to be required once the box comes online at this site. The network has been defined, the sites have been defined, the uplinks have been designed already, and all I have to do now is apply them to an appliance.
Got it.
Now, normally with lots of products, you can't actually configure anything until your cloud appliance is brought online. So you have to arrange the downtime, you have to get it to the site, and then you're struggling to get it up as fast as you can to minimize the impact, or doing it in the middle of the night like most admins have to do. However, we've invented this really cool concept here called shadow appliances. And shadow appliances allow us to place a cardboard silhouette, so to speak, of any appliance in our product line. So I can say I want to take one of our 130 gateways, and I want to put that here at our Dallas headquarters, or our Dallas sites, or our new Dallas office. And I can do this procedure for any of our gateways, switches, and access points. They can all be deployed ahead of time, they can be configured, and they can be made ready in all respects for the physical appliance to actually show up and be plugged in.
So this is true zero-touch provisioning.
Exactly.
And it applies not just to the gateways, but to the switches and the access points as well.
For the entire product line, you could build a whole company, all of its sites, all of its branches end to end, without ever actually needing an appliance. And when you're ready to actually put an appliance in place and have it come online, all you have to do is click on the shadow appliance that you're working with, choose to register the hardware, enter its serial number, which you can get from many, many places. And at that point, the appliance will only need a few seconds to actually come online and start configuring itself with the way that this particular cloud controller says it should act. So you can see here in the log, it's already come online. It's bringing up the VPN tunnels. It takes just a few seconds. And as I'm talking, what's going to happen is this site is going to join all of the other sites which are currently part of the mesh.
So the appliances were drop shipped to the Dallas office. Somebody there, the office manager, somebody without any particular IT expertise can just connect them to the network and power. The device powers up, authenticates itself, and it starts passing traffic.
Exactly. You could actually ship a box. It's already online. It's already built its tunnel to the two headquarters. The other sites are leased, so they don't talk directly, but we can change that with a click as well. And anyone can deploy sites, send the boxes out and plug them in, and it will perform all of the VPN and routing work, and you really don't even have to understand what VPN stands for. So now our locations are using all of their connections intelligently in the way that I've designed it, right? We have their company-wide policies are in place. We've brought a brand new location online. It took us 60 seconds or so to have it fully meshed in there to the other sites. And it's already executing the traffic path and policy rules that I just built in the previous step. I didn't even have to touch the appliance and actually make new accommodations for it entering the network. So the company here now is going to do